Hello, everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
So we just started. It's kind of like hit the ground running kind of thing. So we're going to vamp a little bit as we wait for the chat to populate. But the first thing I want to mention is, of course, that if you want to support this show and you're watching it live, we encourage you to use the Super Chats because that's a great way to participate in the actual content of the show because we'll read your question and answer it during the show in an organic fashion, of course. We're not going to hit the brakes as hard as possible and then immediately address a question that's not related to the show, but we will try and address every single one of the Super Chats in question for the episode.
There you go.
We also want to take this moment to also promote our Patreon, patreon.com/ComicPOP, which you can find a link of in the description below this video. Catch that. And you can also get access to behind-the-scenes updates. I gave a big old update about what we're working on this channel just this Monday. I try to make it every Monday. I guess that's today.
Yeah.
So I guess I did it last night.
We're very tired.
It's true. But let me get through the Patreon plug, and then we'll talk about why we're tired. Yeah, patreon.com/ComicPOP. You get behind-the-scenes video access, and also, of course, behind-the-scenes updates and stuff like that. Early access, that's kind of that sort of thing. By the way, let me address the elephant in the room because a couple people already have. I'm wearing glasses, and that is because
we're tired.
We're exhausted, and it's nothing to do with our lives in any really dramatic way.
No, we planned this, which was
deliberately
stupid.
planned. I made a kind of joke about how we should have stayed someplace else.
And
you were like, nah.
Nah.
But I was actually really serious about it.
Totally right, and honestly, we should have just picked a different day.
Yeah.
So this morning we took our little flirkin Wash to the vet for a possible tooth extraction. Turns out when they got in there, they didn't have to extract anything, which is great for us.
Which is great, even though it costs the same amount. By the way, what the hell?
Same price.
You gotta get in there, take it out, sew them up, and it's gonna cost the same as now. Oh, whatever.
But anyway, because of that, the cats, we have 3 of them. Wash couldn't have food after 8 p.m. They always get an evening dry food pick me up before we go to bed so they can leave us the hell alone. So they didn't get that.
Yep.
And then at midnight they couldn't have water. So
yeah. So anyway, they completely harassed us the entire evening.
All
one of them in particular was just every hour on the hour I woke up and dealt with her. I know that you had to deal with her a couple times as well, but literally every hour on the hour from 2 a.m. until 8 a.m. When we finally got up. Which, of course, because it's daylight savings time, for those of you who are not
it's 7
American, it was 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And
that being said, by the way, I just want to point out, it was not Wash. Wash accepted his fate and went to bed.
Yeah, the one who was...
He is a good boy.
Because he's a good boy. Because he's the one who has the problems, and he's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
By the way, not really that many problems at all. It's just when he gets sick.
Yeah.
He gets expensive sick.
He does. They all, it's all very expensive. But he's good. He's recovering at home. He's a little high.
Exactly.
His eyes are just dilated.
Yeah.
And,
he's really...
very slowly going around the house.
But he's handling his post experience very well, very gracefully. Like all cats should.
So, and I appreciate the hair compliments, everybody.
Yeah. I like it, too.
Nothing was done this morning.
It was a rough morning.
It was a rough morning, but that being said, we're excited to be talking about things, and we've vamped for you now.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about at least one major book and one major movie. Normally, I dedicate an entire episode of Off the Rack to a movie.
Yeah.
But we figured, you know what, Doomsday Clock. And it's so rare that an issue of Doomsday Clock comes out.
Yeah.
We have to celebrate.
We don't get to talk about it very much.
It's true, and I don't think anyone's got the patience to wait another week to talk about a book that's 6 months late. So
yeah.
Let's talk about it.
We're
going to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd front load it with some movie talk. Obviously, the movie on everybody's minds right now over the last week was Captain Marvel was dropped just this past week. Not this past weekend, the weekend before that, right?
No, this past weekend.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
It feels like 2 days ago was really long ago.
Well, yeah, because we didn't, that not sleeping will do that to you.
Yeah, but we did see it Thursday night, which was awesome, that we got to see it that early.
Yes.
Captain Marvel, which was directed, of course, by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, 2 directors.
Nice.
Which I noticed that a couple of criticisms, I saw a lot of criticisms, but one of them was it felt like 2 different movies. The first part and the second part. I'm like, yeah, that might be because there's 2 directors, but it might also be because you're looking for something. So let's jump into our thoughts on some of the casting, some of the decisions, some of the movie opinions, and then jump into more comic talk. Of course, do you have any recommendations, folks, that are coming out this week?
No. No.
Okay, because I might.
Okay,
But
I should have.
I want to dedicate a section of the show to where we recommend books that we think you should pick up that are coming out this week, since we talk about books that came out last week. You know how it is. So, Captain Marvel. One of the things that stood out to me the most, I don't really know if that's even accurate. I was gonna say, like, I was so impressed with Nick Fury. But I'll talk about the movie first.
Yeah.
Opinions on the movie. I dug it.
Yeah, I dug it too. It's fun.
Yeah. And there's no, like, asterisk after it.
No.
Because, like, every time I see anyone talking about it online or in person, usually it goes with a caveat.
Nope.
And, like, I didn't dig Iron Man 3, right? But I still had a good time watching it. Like, I'm in the theater. There were a couple of Man-Thing references in Iron Man 3. I'm like, whoa, it's kind of cool. Like, okay.
Right.
You know, we're in the kid's garage for too long. I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to... Killian sucks, and I'm like, oh, that's really boring. I don't really care for that. But I'm still enjoying the movie as it's going.
Right.
So when people say, like, hey, what do you think of Iron Man 3? I'm like, it's not for me. Or like, oh, it's okay.
It's fine.
But if they're like, what do you like about Iron Man 3? I'm like, oh, man, I like this, and this. But I never say, like, oh, I like this. It's too bad this, and this happened. Like, that's a different question. And every positive review that I've seen, a begrudgingly positive review of Captain Marvel I've seen is, it was okay, but I gotta say, got a couple of gripes. And it's like, yo, I didn't ask you about that. I asked you what you liked about it, if you liked it at all. Mm-hmm. Unabashedly, dug the movie. Yeah. And if I have to, like, put it in some kind of ranking system, I like it more than Ant-Man 1 and 2, less than Iron Man 2. And I like Iron Man 2 a lot. That's not like a barometer of, like, it's not as good as Iron Man 2, because it's one of the least favorite MCU movies of all time. No, I really and unabashedly enjoy Iron Man 2.
You do.
Unironically,
really do.
Because of how much I like Sam Rockwell in that movie.
Yes.
And the journey of Tony Stark.
Yes.
But I dug it, like, as much as that.
Right. Right.
And this is a movie where, I'm going to let you talk, I promise.
Thank you.
But I was going to say, this is a movie where, like, I was hyped to see it, because I dig what they're doing with it. I have never really cared for the Carol Danvers character.
Right.
Except in, like, really, really random instances. Like, not if Bendis is writing her, but I really like her in the lobby of Avengers Mansion or Avengers Tower in the New Avengers, where she's like, maybe they're coming to invite us not invite us to the New Avengers. Like, just kind of like, I've been here a long
sarcasm.
time. Yeah, that really, like, that acerbic wit. Yeah. I kind of really dig it. But the journey she's taken, the retcons she's had, the reboots she's gone through,
right.
It's hard to really say, like, Carol Danvers is my favorite character. Like, oh, really? Which version? Which character name? Which code name? Which era? Like, it's hard to really square that circle for the Carol Danvers character. So I was really excited for this movie in terms of, like, finally, give us a version that, because, like, Marvel likes to do this where they're like, oh, a movie's coming out, change everything in the comics to fit that thing that we all desperately want to be like.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, cool, this will actually work in our favor, because you can do something with Carol Danvers that, like, is streamlined and works and also doesn't frustratingly suck.
Right.
You know? So, but like I said, like, I'm going to this movie like, okay, I've got, like, no expectations, and I'm kind of excited to see it, but not like Civil War, where I'm like, I know Spider-Man's going to be in it.
Right.
Or like Homecoming, where I'm like, I know Spider-Man's finally going to get his own movie in the MCU. But I still found myself being like, this is a fun movie, and I'm really enjoying it. There were a couple moments I'm like, oh, you did that for me? Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I really had a good time with it.
Right?
I liked it a lot more than several of the other MCU.
Oh, yeah. No,
movies.
Thor the Dark World's on TV the other day. I'm like, woof! Rather watch that. Like, I'd rather watch Captain Marvel.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the negative stuff, I mean, there's a ton of reasons, but, like, a lot of people, especially, like, actual reviewers, they're just done with superhero movies, and so, like, regardless of the movie, they're gonna ding it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally.
Like, they're just, like... It's so funny to me when reviewers talk about the superhero genre and how they're done with it.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm kind of done with rom-coms.
Yeah, exactly. Or the Western is really played out.
Like, well, we never stop those.
No.
So how about the Oscar grab? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like...
Do we have to have another sleepy World War II era movie about a guy who's really old?
Like, they have to stop with that, in my opinion. Like, they gotta stop being down on the superhero genre, just in general. And just accept the fact that this is a thing that exists now. And, like, a lot of people people like it, and regardless of how many times you say how tired you are of them, they're
not gonna stop.
Yeah, they're still.
And I'm still gonna
keep
go
being
see
made,
them.
So,
yeah,
like, get over it.
And both camps, comic book fans, non-comic book fans, everyone loves these movies and enjoys them for different reasons, and we're all going to see them. So get over it.
Yeah, yeah. This film, I thought, did a really good job of trying to make all of that like work.
All of what?
Her history.
Yes.
And like just everything about it work in a way that was digestible, and also I think did a very good job of retconning her into the MCU.
Right.
Like, how do you explain where she was? How are we gonna make this film when you've already have all this long history of like, you know, movies that have been going on? You do a period piece.
Right.
And like a period that like isn't really that
chronicled, except when they were making them.
Well, I was gonna say not all that long ago, but like still completely works, and I just thought they did a nice job overall. Like I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, just in terms of pure opinion about the movie.
Yeah,
dug it.
Yeah,
and that's it. Like I didn't love it. I'm not like gonna go buy a Captain Marvel sweater.
I have one.
I know you do, and you look good in it.
I do, and I would have worn it today, but I'm tired. I was like, this is already on my body.
Plus, not enough people know how awesome the Bronx Zoo is and how
much I love the Bronx Zoo. I love it.
It's true.
I would work there if I could.
But you would work. You'd be there for like a week and be like, oh no.
I'm too sad.
Yeah, someone died. And a creature had to be euthanized, and you'd be like, that's it.
Yep.
But so just off the cuff, dug the movie. I think it's cool. And I think she will be a welcome addition to the MCU as a character.
Yes.
There was by the way, spoilers in this review, so if you haven't seen it yet and you want to see it without any blinders on or whatever, stay tuned for more.
Right.
Here we go. By the way, I also want to take this opportunity to fix an error. I think I said in an episode of Back Issues that I thought that Jude Law was going to play Mar-Vell, and that was based on a lot of rumors that I'd heard at the time because they were really kind of keeping Yon-Rogg secret.
Right.
I always thought that Jude Law was going to play Mar-Vell. Turns out, no. I was totally wrong about that. He plays Yon-Rogg, and so, I'm wrong like a human being is sometimes.
Right.
From there, I guess we could talk about like standout things we just really dug.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of things that I thought were like awesome special effects. I thought the Nick Fury thing was like 99.9% flawless.
Right. I agree.
Whereas Goose, when he was like going through,
it's really hard.
It looks not like a cat.
No.
Sometimes the real cat looks awesome because it's a real cat.
But that's the issue. You had nothing to compare Nick Fury to. He looked like that.
Well, I had my recollection of what Nick Fury looked.
But a recollection's a little different than having it right next to it.
Yeah.
I think fur in general is difficult for them to render 100% at this point. I mean,
well, especially when it's doing something you're not expecting.
Yeah, but like to have a physical cat there in one frame and the next frame to have it not be there, it's a lot easier for your brain to remember what it just looked like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of hard. But I love Goose.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought Goose was great.
Yes.
I mean, of course, R.I.P. Chewie, that was his original name. Mm-hmm. Ethan and I had a long conversation about how, like, why don't they just name him Chewie? If you have the Star Wars license, a lot of fun. You're maybe going in space, but apparently they went with the Top Gun reference.
What would it be referencing? Like, does Star Wars...
Star Wars does not exist in the MCU. Star Wars is a movie franchise.
Yeah, but like, does it exist as a movie, and then therefore it would make sense?
Yeah.
But then, I don't know.
Either way, I liked it. Also, like, there's no one in the base who would have named Goose that seemed to me to be like a big or closeted Star Wars fan.
Right.
So it worked in the context of the movie. Mm-hmm. But yeah, being said, special effects, everything looks pretty cool. Like,
yes,
a lot of the space stuff looks great.
Oh, yeah.
The effects look really good in terms of her powers.
I loved her powers.
The de-aging effect that Marvel has been pioneering and fixing over the years is looking really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, like, Coulson wasn't in it very much, but when he was... He was like, that's not what Clark Gregg looks like right now.
No, he looks like a very thin, young Clark Gregg, and that was really fun to see.
Good for you, Clark. Good for you to be back, too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, man, that Nick Fury thing, I was like, wow, he looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't hurt that the canvas is on Samuel L. Jackson, who is 70 but looks 55.
Right.
So it's like, oh, I only have to de-age him like 20 years.
A little bit, not too much.
But if you just look at like the poster for Shaft or the trailer for the new Shaft reboot, it's like Wow. Anyway.
Okay. I think we should talk actually about Captain Marvel.
I think you're right. No, Brie Larson. What'd you think of Brie Larson's portrayal of the character?
I loved her portrayal of the character. I think she really solidified what the attitude that writers have been trying to put on paper for quite a while. Being from the East Coast, I loved her sarcastic sense of humor. I was like, yeah, I can get right behind this. Like, I love sarcasm. It doesn't matter who's saying it. Like, I love it as, like, a style of humor. So, like, it really, like, hit for me.
Right.
I was like, yep, this is great. Like, even, like, when she and Yanrog would have, like, a back and forth, like, and, like, he was equally sarcastic. Like, I loved it. Like,
exactly.
It was just great.
No, I agree. I remember the trailer, there's a moment where I was like, ugh. I really didn't like the delivery. It's exactly as it is in the movie. It's when Fury and Carol are driving to a clandestine location, and he asks for the rundown of Kree, and she corrects him because he's like a race of noble warriors, and she's like heroes, noble warrior heroes. It's an awkward sentence. It was horrible to say, and I really hated how it sounded. And I also really I was like, ooh, like what is that? Like she seems very confident in that scene.
Yes.
And of course she's also, like, at least she thinks she's an alien. And so like it was this interesting, I'm like, oh, I guess she's gonna like go through some kind of weird like metamorphosis, or at the very least she's gonna like, I don't know, because I know what the Kree are. They've never been heroes. They're dipshits. Like, you know what I mean? She's going through some experience, and I was like, that's gonna be interesting to see her growth from that. And it really does happen, and I dug it. And it informs the character in that moment. Yeah. But it was a moment where I'm like, oh, shut up. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I see. Yeah. And then it went on to something else, and I'm like, okay, cool. Carol comes alive for me when she's Kree, when she's pure, like, I am this. Yes. It was hard to really connect and identify with her for me. It was only until we see her friendship with Maria Rambeau that she came alive as a character for me.
Well, yeah, but I think that is intentional and
definitely.
Really works
because she's in this,
well.
Well, it's funny because the Kree are supposed to be portrayed in the movie as being kind of like emotional and very kind of like stoic people, even though they all have very distinct personalities, and they're all kind of fun, especially like, you know, the characters we've seen, of course, in Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot. But like, for whatever reason, they're like, no, but it's almost like Carol is to the Kree the way Worf is the Klingons, where she's like, no, I actually am like what a Kree is supposed to be. Like, I don't make funny jokes, and you know what I mean? She's just kind of like strong-willed and singularly purposed. I want to do this one thing and get it done.
Yeah, but she does make jokes. Like,
she does make jokes, but it's in a more like it's in a more.
But she even gets like chastised for making too many jokes.
Well, I know.
You know what I mean? But like for me, what I liked was that like for anyone who didn't know going into this that like she wasn't meant to be a Kree, like they're just watching the movie and like she doesn't seem to fit into this world. And I really liked that.
I like that too.
Like the movie's like, no, she's Kree. Wait, just see. Yeah. And yet, amongst the Kree, she doesn't even fit in. She has this special power, you know what I mean? She's training. Yeah. But, like, she's alien in an alien world. Right. And then when we, of course, later on, learn that she's not, in fact, Kree, as most of us knew, that, you know, it's like, and that would make sense because it's, you know, there's something within her that's, like, innate that, like, can't help itself, that she doesn't fit into that world because she's not meant to be in that world.
Exactly. But I liked Brie Larson's portrayal of the character. There was, I think, growth because she has to go through this like interesting. It's not like she needs to learn humility in this movie. She doesn't need to learn how to play well with others, or you know, it's actually kind of more of a subtle growth and change that she has to go through. And I kind of dug it. And I was like, it took me a minute to learn and to go through it, but I'm like, oh, actually, there's something in there. Yeah, and I really dug it. I'm really excited to see her in this version, especially after 20 years of her journey. Yes, and where she's ended up.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I'm actually really glad that we started with this like period piece because it allows her character to have had a fun heroic adventure to begin with, and then transition into something more serious, kind of like how they treated Ant-Man and even the Guardians to some degree. Like, the Guardians had a good old time.
Yeah, we had
some
fun,
laughs.
Even though he loses his mom and dad.
Right, but we had some laughs, and now it's serious, and then, you know, of course, the Guardians' future is a little uncertain at this point, but were they to move on past Infinity War, it could be whatever they wanted. They could return back to these happier times, or they could not. But their option is there because we've shown them happy prior to this.
Right, exactly.
So I really dig that they gave the opportunity for us to have like a good old time. Also, you know, between Ant-Man 2 and this, kind of that palate cleanser that, like, you know, hey, we're having a good time in the MCU before we dive back into Endgame. Yeah,
which at the very least the teaser and trailer seem to indicate is going to be a much more grounded, kind of thoughtful.
Yeah, I don't want to call it like a palate cleanser, but like it gives us an opportunity to feel that dourness again.
Yes, without it like needing to extend it.
Right. Because like if there's too much seriousness, it makes you numb to it, and then, you know, they either have to go above and beyond and do ridiculous things to make you feel that again, or you do something like this where it's like, hey, we give you 2 fun movies.
Mm-hmm.
And wait, was it Ant-Man 2 or was it Ragnarok?
It was Ragnarok, Endgame, or Infinity War, Ant-Man 2, I think.
Either
way,
whatever it is, what I'm saying though is that, like, coming into this though, like, we've had a nice time.
Right.
We were reminded of it, of course, at the end of this film, but going into it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, here we go. Like, I'm prepared and not prepared all at the same time.
No, it's true.
Because of this. But yeah, overall, I think Brie did a nice job. Like, I think she handled the role well. I think her portrayal of the character and its like sort of infancy of, you know, it's an origin story. It really is. At the heart of it, it's an origin story, and it's not an origin story at the same time.
No, yeah.
Because like we get the flashback,
we get all that stuff.
We get all that, but then like she's had her powers for a while, she's been training for a while, but she doesn't become Captain Marvel until the end of this film.
Exactly.
Really, which I'm like, that's really cool. That's really fun.
No, I agree.
So, you know, she'll be able to have that growth, and they don't have to show it to us necessarily. We'll be able to just get it, and then we can move on, or not. If they want to do another period movie, fine, go for it. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't make any sense necessarily.
No.
But, you know, we've seen where the kickoff is, and we understand what would have taken her or gotten her to the next step in her journey. So that's cool.
Let's jump into the super chats really quick.
Oh,
just as we transition between points about this movie.
Yeah.
Because there have been quite a few.
Ooh, look at that.
I know.
I've just been chattering on.
Everything Greg says, MCU Carol's funnier and likable, unlike the comic. Yeah, she's it's tough to get into her character because she has the baggage that MCU Carol doesn't have to carry.
Yeah. Also because like I don't think anybody's really had like a, you know, like this is where it's gonna go, and then like the next person picks up with that necessarily, and so like it's kind of muddied. Like a lot of characters in Marvel continuity have certain character beats that they need to hit,
right, in
order for that character to be themselves, and when they're not, it's foreign. But then for characters who don't have that, it's more difficult to write them consistently.
Agreed. Yeah. No. The other one was from Michael Lowe. What happened to Bad Issue yesterday? It's next week.
Yeah, it's every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's every 2 weeks.
About and around.
So there should be like 3 back issues between them,
or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not all. It's not every.
It's every 2 weeks.
It's gonna be there.
Mr. Roboto says, "How was Ms. Marvel and not dead Cap Marvel?" I don't know what you're asking.
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel's not in the movie. Not dead Captain Marvel was in the movie and was dead and was fine. Nigel Red says the movie was surprisingly pretty anti-war and anti-militarism, despite the Air Force promotion. Love the movie and very interested in Monica's future. Yeah, I love the young lady who played Monica. Love Marie as well.
Yeah, I loved, like, they were fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think it was really a promotion for the Air Force at all, because I think it was more like she's an Air Force pilot.
Right, but regardless, I guess like the Air Force just being present.
Right, they're there.
Yeah.
But like just because someone drinks a Coke doesn't mean they're endorsing it.
Certainly not on
it's
this
not a promotion. Yeah.
Where is yours, by the way?
I'm not drinking one right now. But yeah, but I liked the message as well. We'll get into that hopefully soon. Forging Views, kind of cool how they subverted expectations by making the original Marvel a woman. Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I was like actually surprised there was even a Marvel in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I thought that the Marvel thing, because I was so certain that Jude Law was Marvel, I was kind of like, oh cool, well they just won't have one. And they're like, no, it's Annette Bening, and it's like, oh okay.
I love Annette Bening.
I know you love her as an actor. And I think she was really cool in the movie.
I thought she was really great in this movie. I thought she showed, like, for the
the 12 lines she has.
The brief amount of time that we had with her, I think she showed a lot of range. I do love her as an actress. I just think she's just, like, I don't know.
Well, she plays two very different characters.
Very different characters, and, like, I love her as Marvel. I love her even more as
the Supreme Intelligence.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just so just like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed we didn't get to see the big green tentacle monster.
I get it, but like...
I get why they didn't do it, and I was very not surprised they didn't do it.
Right.
But I was also very not surprised that they didn't do it. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, they're not gonna do it. They're gonna storm Cloud Galactus again. And then, like, they don't show him, like, of course they're not gonna do it. Because he looks stupid.
Yeah,
because every time I talk about the Korean Super Intelligence on the couch, like Ben and Ethan and you are like, what is this? Why is he like that? That's so stupid.
Yeah, but like, hey, look, you got Annette Bening. You might as well use Annette Bening to be the Supreme Intelligence.
Yeah, but there's no one where she goes like, blah, and she like becomes the...
No. Which I'm glad. And it's not like she's always going to be the Supreme Intelligence necessarily. This might actually, I mean...
Oh, no, yeah.
Well, I guess in theory, if
well, they kept
Carol
up the whole
ever
thing.
Goes back in, then yes.
Well, and they do the whole thing where it's like, you don't know what it looks like.
Right.
But like, if you're a comic book fan, you do.
Right. It's just fine. But like, I thought she was so great when like she's just like, ooh, love the music. Like,
I don't know,
it's just so,
no,
like,
she's very.
It's such a like.
It's a real thing. Like, she's actually doing something with the character.
She definitely is.
She's not like I was just watching Guardians the other day. Glenn Close playing Nova Prime. She's like, she's not really doing anything with that character.
No,
I don't think she really understands what the hell's going on.
No, Annette Bening really gets it.
But she's clearly
regardless of if she understands what the Supreme Intelligence is.
She doesn't need to know.
She gets the motivation behind it,
exactly.
and she's just like, no, dress her down.
Yeah, right.
Like, make it comfortable, but also like make sure like
that she knows her place.
How confident in your role that you are.
Exactly.
I'm like, that's just
that was actually really cool.
She's very good.
Jack O'Connell, the fact that the Nova Corps fought the Kree in Guardians shows everyone the Kree were going to be wankers. The Skrull twist was great. I agree.
Yes.
I don't think it was like I was like bravo, but it was like, oh, you got me, movie.
I was like, this is refreshing.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. Polish GMR says, hey, I heard quite mixed things about the movie. As someone who isn't hugely into the MCU, I enjoy some of the films, but I find a lot of them to be overrated. Could you recommend this movie to someone like me? Sure.
I mean, here's the thing. It's
because I think it's
an MCU movie, like, you know, like, and it's an origin story,
and you're not gonna need to watch all the other ones. Like, if you dig grounded Earth stuff and space stuff, you're probably gonna enjoy it because it's gonna have both, and they're not. There's callbacks and references to those universes and all those other things. Like, there's characters that show up and you might go, like, who's that? I guess that's a thing.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, you won't need to worry about it.
Right, and like, here's the thing: each person you talk to is gonna have a very different opinion on the ranking for this movie. Because, like Sal said, like, he really likes Iron Man too. And
yeah, exactly.
You know me, guys. I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan, but I was less a fan of his origin story, and I think this is a better origin story for a character.
Yes, I agree.
I found it.
But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So like, each person's going to be very different in how they perceive this as like a movie, a superhero movie, and a origin story.
Right. Exactly. So when Mr. Roboto says more Marvel movies need the Oscar speech, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. So there was a brilliant casting move that I first thought was they were going to Michael Ironside this movie. I call it Michael Ironsiding when the casting director goes, I need a character who's a military authority figure that has the presence but doesn't have any actual backstory in the script, but everyone in the audience will know who he is and what he's all about and won't be surprised when he turns out to be a bad guy. Oh, I guess I'll just cast Michael Ironside.
Right, or I need his voice to voice a character
who is unvoiceable.
Unvoiceable and unfeeling and a bad guy.
Yeah. That, like, when you make your Darkseid movie, just make him all CG and get Michael Ironside to mocap him.
Just call Michael
Ironside. He's perfect.
You don't have to. Don't even mocap him. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
I just want his voice.
Right. Well, but I think he's gonna be fine.
I think he'd be fine, but I'm just saying if he doesn't want to do the mocap.
Yeah, if he doesn't want to wear the stupid thing that Josh Brolin wore, it's fine. But that's like an example of not lazily casting Michael Ironside. But anyway, they cast Ben Mendelsohn, who is the bad guy in the last 5 or 6 tentpole franchise movies. And what the hell? And I'm like, oh, Jesus, he's going to play Talos, the friggin' Skrull, like, bad guy.
Sure.
And then they flip the script on you.
Yep.
And at first, because they're Skrulls, and you are conditioned as a Marvel comic book reader to not trust them, to have him when the turn happens, when it turns out that like the Skrulls are actually on the receiving end of the Kree's ire and they are in like they're second-class citizens, I'm thinking, oh, he's playing at heartstrings. It's gonna be a double cross.
Right, I thought the same thing. I'm like, they're gonna get up to the ship
and there's gonna be like an outpost there, and the Skrulls have been here the whole time. Like I thought they were gonna tease the Kree Skrull War, but actually it was gonna be secret invasion. And it's like, no, there have been Skrulls here the whole time.
Yeah.
And so you've got a bigger problem on your hands.
In fact, when it's revealed that he's in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Exactly.
I was like, oh,
shit.
they've been there the whole time. I didn't piece together that, I was like, oh, okay, cool, right on. Got it. Okay.
No, exactly.
Then nope.
Then no, as it turns out, he really does mean what he says, and like it's great to see. Okay, so it would be smart to be like, okay, well, we're gonna get Ben Mendelsohn because like his face is on all he's directocrinic, so we got to put his face on everything. But obviously, the guy who plays Talos won't be Ben Mendelsohn. No, it's Ben Mendelsohn in friggin' Skrull makeup, and he looks great.
Yeah.
And he actually gets to act, as opposed to like he's the bad guy.
Right. What I dig about this whole like flipping the script kind of thing is it's like it's now that you're there and I'm like, oh, it's so obvious that you did all of this. Like you cast Jude Law.
Right.
Who's just like, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a leading
Jude
man.
Law. Like,
yeah.
Of course, he's gonna be fine. And then like the little green men, basically, they're the bad guys.
Right.
Right? That's what I'm like American, like, average moviegoer should think.
Yep.
What? Like,
yeah,
and it's so obvious now. It's just like, oh no, yeah, you totally like did all these things to get me to that point. And, yeah, and if you're a comic book goer, of course, you're like, no, Skrull's bad.
Skrulls are bad. I'm told to...
All Skrulls are bad.
And I've been arguing against that whole concept forever. Whenever they're like, hey, Skrulls, it's like, Skrulls are sentient beings who are capable
They can't all be bad.
They're capable of science and agriculture. Like, why are we, like, letting Venom eat them and we're supposed to cheer? This is horrifying. But then Ben Mendelsohn's like, no, we're screwed. And yes, we do shapeshift, and yes, we are like tricky.
Yes,
but we're not evil.
Right, and like I like the idea that there's a potential that it's not all of them are, and that there are Skrulls.
You could have bad
Skrulls,
yes,
like because they're people,
right?
And they have
all
different,
people, people can be good or bad or indifferent.
Yeah, exactly. And he, like for him, he's just like, I just want to get my family and some of my people away from here, and I don't want to even deal with this. Don't even want to deal with this.
Yeah.
This is not for me.
No. Does a great job.
Does a great, like, even with the humorous moments, because I always go back to that moment where they're in Maria Rambeau's house.
Yes.
And or in
and
the shed or whatever.
He shows. No, they're in the house.
And then I can't remember. They were at the house. I can't remember if they were in the shed or in the house.
I think they're in the kitchen when or in the dining room.
And like they reveal like what all of this means and like where the lab is, and they're like, oh, it's in orbit.
Yeah, and he like gives his science officer this like, are you for real? I've been here for like how many years?
It's just
you jackass.
Orbit.
Yeah, you're my science guy.
You're my science guy.
It's really funny. That's very clever.
Yes.
It was a smart move because it made it so that we didn't play to the other concept of like, let's follow this like humanoid looking white person and have them beat the bad guys. They're blue and they're green and whatever. And it's like, no, in this, no, like the truly alienated people are the Skrulls. That was really cool.
Yep.
And it was a great way to pull the rug out from our hardcore comic book fans because like we were expecting the opposite.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And does Secret Invasion better than Secret Invasion?
Yes.
For me. Because it's like, oh, you're actually tackling it. Like, you're actually dealing with them being, with their humanity. Because I like to say, as Kirk said, everybody's human.
Yeah. Right.
But, like, yeah, I really dig that. And he was a smart casting choice because it also played into the double standard. Or, like, not the double standard, but, like, the rug pulling.
Yeah.
Because you're like, Ben Mendelsohn, he plays the bad guy. Of course he plays the main bad guy.
Right.
Because he played the main bad guy in literally 4 or 5 of these movies.
Mm-hmm. Which was weird for me, like, the Kree, just in general, like, this was interesting, because it was, like, we've dealt with Ronan so far, and, like, I know Ronan was, like, a little extreme.
Right, but he is still a Kree.
He's still a Kree, and if you were, not that they have anything to do with each other, but if you've been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Kree have not been the best.
No,
honestly, there. And so here we are with the Kree, who are, like, portrayed early on to be, like, hey, we're just doing our thing. Maybe we're a little misunderstood, but we have our reasons, and the reasons are the Skrulls. And it's like, no, see, the Kree are just consistent.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They're just consistent. They're consistently not the best in this world right now.
Right.
That doesn't mean they're all bad, but, like, you know, the one that saved Coulson, you know.
Oh, the one who was dead? The dead one?
Yeah, the dead one.
Well, who knows?
Yeah. I think in terms of making this like a 90s flick.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed, like, without making it too obvious and like too like tongue-in-cheek. Some of the jokes and a little bit of the humor I felt really fit for that time period without making it like feel too dated necessarily.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like without like using too much like lingo or what have you. Like
it didn't really feel. The grunge look reference was like the most on the nose. Like, we're in this time period, get it? Although the blockbuster also was a way to be like, we're trying to acclimate the audience and what year it is, but also make a joke, and also it's like the most obvious thing you could possibly put her in to establish what year it is. But it works, and I'm fine with it. The Stan Lee cameo was a great way to be like, this is the year this movie takes place in.
Yeah. It also like solidifies that like the Views universe, I guess.
Yeah.
Is real in the Marvel universe, like.
Well, like Kevin Smith movies are a thing.
Yeah. Kevin Smith, Clerks, Mallrats, or at least Mallrats, it came out during that time period, and like that's Stan Lee. That's not Stan Lee as a character.
Nope, Stan Lee plays Stan Lee.
That's just Stan.
Yeah, that was really cute.
Yeah,
I was like, that's fun.
And honestly, I know like that opening, the Marvel logo was like it was a gut punch, because initially it was like, oh, it's just like one image of him, and then to have it be every cameo he's had was just, it was incredible, and it was really, I think, tastefully done, and I think an excellent idea for them to put the thank you to Stan at the beginning of the film instead of the end, because everybody saw it then. Yeah. You know, instead of waiting to the end where, you know, some people leave for the post-credit scenes, which I'm always just like, but how? Yeah.
No, I loved that.
Yeah.
That was a really nice touch. Post-credit scene. So that's kind of it. I dug it. I recommend it. I think you should go check it out if you haven't already. And I think she's going to be a welcome addition to the universe.
I think so. I'm looking forward to her interacting with the other characters. I'm excited the fact that they have introduced Monica Rambeau.
Yes. And she can be age-appropriate now.
It totally works. Like, this completely works. I love that she's in here. I know she was in the Netflix series.
Oh, no, that was...
that was Misty Knight. That was Misty Knight. Wow, I keep wanting to put Monica Rambeau
because of the hair.
I know. No, it has absolutely nothing with that. I have like Misty Knight and Monica Rambeau in there at the same time. Like, they're not the same person to be.
Right.
I'm like, no. And then she was there too. No.
Yeah.
That's my wish fulfillment right there. That they got everybody together.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice.
That would have been nice. But still, she's in there now, and that gives us another at least street level character. Yeah. Because like they're.
Well, no. Monica could still be Photon and get cosmic level powers,
but I don't think they'll do that because that'll.
Well, you know, who knows? Or they'll never put her in. I mean, you know, Skrulls are good now.
I bet she will have gotten snapped.
Oh yeah.
Right now, at least.
Yeah, we got to make the stake. We got to give everybody stakes in this next movie.
Yeah, I mean, like her stakes are already there because like her connection was Fury, and so with Fury gone, she's a part of this.
Exactly. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, jumping back into the Super Chats before we move on. Sam Anderson says, Ben Mendelsohn, Space Australian. Yes.
Yes. This is like the second time now he's a Space Australian.
Yeah. No, it's true.
He loves being in space.
He likes space. I think he just likes money.
Well, I mean, but like he does get the opportunity to play in these like incredible like universes. I mean, like.
Oh yeah, I would not say no. I would be terrible as a director of the Imperial Navy or whatever, but like I would still be in it.
Yeah.
Like I would still say yes to them.
Right.
Mr. Roboto says it's more of a shapeshifter thing. Yes, the Skrulls are shapeshifters.
No, I think he means like that's what makes people uneasy.
Oh yeah, I think that's like. Well, that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why they're a metaphor for like for the Red Scare. They can look like any of us. That's the idea. Yeah. And so like.
I mean, unless you're a psychic.
Right,
but then they did the whole memory thing anyway.
Yeah.
They only have the recent memories.
Exactly.
Which I was like, how does that work?
Michael Lowe says, I checked it again. It's been 2 weeks since you guys did The Huntress, or am I losing it? And Sal, I'm with you. I love Iron Man 2. Okay, I'll release it as soon as I can. Rusky9110 says, didn't get her powers from a wish-granting machine, 0 out of 10. Okay.
I'm guessing it's...
Yeah.
It's funny.
I think it's supposed to be a joke.
Yes.
I appreciate it. No, her power, and I dug it, the way you got her powers, by the way. No complaints. Again, just don't complicate it. Make it very simple. Make it very direct. I'll take that.
Yes. And that was a direct blast, definitely.
Oh, yeah, no. DJ Sikuric says, saw a Skrull twist happening because commentary on refugees in the U.S., not just the way it played out. The kitty neutering Nick made me no happy. Yeah, the Nick Fury, the Flurgan
Yes.
cuts Nick Fury's eye, and that's what made him blind in the eye. I said that was going to happen, I think, like 6 months to a year ago.
You did.
When they said, like, oh, there's going to be a cat in the movie. And, like, yeah. I was like, yeah, that'll be what they do.
I don't mind
cute.
it.
Who cares?
I don't mind it, but...
I couldn't care less.
Well, it's for me, I'm like, okay, who cares? But, like, I bet you at the end of the day, I bet Sam Jackson thinks it's great.
Yep.
Like, I know he does.
Think, yeah.
Like, I think he thinks that's great.
No doubt. I'll also say that anything they could have done, you would have hated.
Yeah, because it's like how, like, the only thing you could do is just not show it.
There's one thing they could have done that everybody would have liked, and they were never going to do it. And it was that it was Wolverine.
Yeah, but they were too close.
I know.
Like
those
tiny claws?
No, just the edges.
They're too close.
I know.
They'd have to, like...
Well, maybe either way. The reality
maybe
is
he's trying to get an eyelash out of Fury's eye, and he got one, and then another, and then the third one. And he was like, whoops.
Whoops. The point is, you were never going to be happy. Rusky910 back says, did anyone else think Chris Evans looks a little slim in the post-credits trailer? Did they call everyone in just for that scene? I think it is that I think he's going to be thin in that movie. I think he is going to be, like...
Not looking frail.
Sad.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's depressed. He's not eating. He's not working out. You know, it's just he's just thin. I think that's what it is. It could be that they just shot it for that scene, but I feel like we're just seeing him at his lowest point. Dennis Bell says, I feel like at some point we have to ask how some people can just absorb what should be a deadly amount of energy, like Hulk and Captain Marvel. Luck, the mutant gene, whatever, magic. I mean, really, that's
because the writer needs that to happen.
I mean, seriously, like the Incredible Hulk pushing Rick Jones out of the way of a gamma blast, and it makes him into the Hulk. It's like, yeah, no, he should have died, and instead he became the Hulk. That's just how it works, man. I'm sorry. A radioactive spider bite would give you cancer. Yeah. I mean, it would actually not do anything because it's a spider.
Right.
It would die before it bit you. But even if it didn't, you wouldn't get anything.
Yes.
Except probably some kind of poison if it were a venomous spider. Point being, it's a fake movie with a fake comic book premise. So, But you could also argue, if you really want to get into it, you could be like, because the human race was engineered by outside forces like Celestials and Kree, and that every human being has something inside of them.
Yes.
That if the perfect set of circumstances were such that this were to happen, you'd get power. I mean, like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver get powers just from Loki's scepter. What does that mean? The less we see, the better, because I would rather them be mutants.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, that's it. Also, just a big old shout out to Lashana Lynch for being such a great Maria Rambeau. I really liked her.
She was really excellent. I really liked. I just liked her. I thought literally she was going to be in the movie for like a hot second, and she's just like, no, I'm part of this, and I'm like, yeah, cool. I really like that because not that she isn't a great role model already for Monica, but like this kind of introduces Monica to like the whole superhero lifestyle, in a sense.
No, I agree.
Like, sometimes you just gotta go and do things.
Right, totally.
And you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So there you go. Recommending it.
Oh, yeah, I really had a good time with it. I mean, like, look, if you like comic book movies, you're probably gonna like this movie.
Exactly.
It's comic book movies, it's a lot of fun.
If you don't like the comic book movies, you're definitely not gonna like this.
Yeah, exactly. So, I thought it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
And,
and if you're looking to not like it,
you're not gonna
find every reason not
to not like it. And I'm sorry for that.
I'm sorry you're looking for that.
But, what are you gonna say?
Exactly.
Like, movies are made for all different folk for all different reasons. Like a lot of those Oscar noms out there, I was like, this is not for me.
Right.
Fine, I get it. I'm sure somebody likes it. It's just not for me. I don't care. But I liked it.
Exactly.
So I had a good time.
So check it out if you get a chance. If you're of a mind, dug it. No asterisk.
Yeah.
So let's jump into Doomsday Clock, because Doomsday Clock number 9 came out, which means it must be a new year. Doomsday Clock, of course, was written by Jeff Johns with art by Gary Frank. It is the issue that everybody says, like, this is the issue where everything happens. Spoilers for Doomsday Clock number 9. If you're trade waiting, put us on mute and I'll give you a wave when we're moving on. But that being said, jumping into spoiler territory for Doomsday Clock number 9, this is the issue where everything happens, according to everybody who read it. Holy crap, things happen! What happens? For all intents and purposes, everyone except for Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and the bad guys get into spaceships and throw themselves at Dr. Manhattan on Mars.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Dr. Manhattan fights the DC Universe. That is... Listen, if that was your pitch, it's a pretty solid pitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a pretty solid pitch. Even if you think that the idea of making a prequel or sequel to Watchmen is aberrant and horrible, you gotta admit, it's kind of dope. Neat idea. You know what? I gotta admire the balls on you for pitching that kind of concept.
Yeah, fun.
Now you see it. Oh.
Yeah, it was, you know, it's like everybody kept talking about how there's like so much happened in this, and I was like,
No, it's a fight.
it's okay.
But it's a pretty rad looking fight.
No, and I'm not saying that. Like, I'm not saying this wasn't like really cool to look at.
Yes.
But
Who cares?
This is like this is the issue where like a little like a plot point is developed or like it appears, and then everything that we'd already figured out, Batman also figures out
Within 2 panels of the last issue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of other things that happen in it.
Yes.
They retcon Firestorm. Firestorm is part of the Superman theory.
Yes.
That actually he was engineered by the U.S. government to be American sponsored superhero. That actually the Superman, phenomenon was engineered by the U.S. government, and that there is something to be said for it. Superman is not part of it.
Right.
But Superman may have inspired it. Cool concept.
Yes.
Again, neat idea.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with the Firestorm retcon.
Sure. I'm totally okay with it. I think, again, and I've said this so many times, but like this issue in particular, I feel like is going to be better in the trade.
Oh, yeah.
Like 100% going to be better with the trade. I don't even mean because of like where we left off on it. I mean literally just because the urgency of it.
Yes.
Will
the emergence should feel like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where that was kind of lost on me simply due to the delays of this book.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
thankfully, everyone who ever reads this when issue 12 hits, everyone from that issue onward was going to love this series.
Yeah,
because no one is going to remember how goddamn long it took for this freaking book to come
fine. But
out.
like living through it right now, I'm like, okay, cool.
For me,
Hopefully I remember everything that happened because like this is where I'm struggling now. Where
Yeah.
I'm just like I either have to go back or I'm just like, okay, hang on. I have to like really like dig deep to remember what happened. The last issue just to make sure that like I'm picking up on certain things. I know I'm missing stuff because I'm not sitting down.
Oh yeah,
month to month.
I did notice this was the issue that had the least amount of extra data in it.
Yeah,
it was like they noticed that no one was reading it.
It could be that,
or that like the hype for it was slowing down.
It could be that too.
Because that was definitely a thing.
Yeah.
I know that like most people that I see online who talk about Doomsday Clock are like, "Wake me when it's done."
Yeah.
I love a lot of the things that Dr. Manhattan explores with the DC Universe. Admittedly, I think it was cool to see all the DC Universe fight Dr. Manhattan. As a dork, I think that's kind of neat.
Right.
And it was fun to see.
Yeah.
But I was more excited by a lot of the things it implies. I like Dr. Manhattan discovering what the magic was all about. I like seeing seeing Guy Gardner be Guy Gardner.
Oh, I was so like, I was like, just wait. I'm like, yes, no, Dr. Manhattan.
Keep
please.
talking.
Just take him. It's fine. It's fine. Just send him into space. Oh wait, no, into the sun because he can be in space.
Yes.
So I was just so done with him. But I mean, that's true.
But he worked.
It's true to character.
But what's funny is
true to character.
Jeff Johns does an incredible job. Since this book is unrated or whatever, it's not a black label. That's weird. But the fact that it's unrated means the characters can curse, and they do.
Yes.
Seeing Guy Gardner drop F-bombs while screaming at a demigod makes Guy Gardner, and by extension other superheroes, look like a bunch of fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, it actually does more to hurt how the DC Universe looks when set against something like Watchmen. Like, it makes them look infantile and pathetic, and it makes them look desperate. And while they are, and I appreciate not infantile and pathetic, but rather desperate and, like, looking for answers, starved for meaning, it makes them look silly. Like, all of a sudden, I'm aware they're wearing costumes. Like, all of a sudden, I'm aware that they're like, I put on my best tights that show my abs as best as possible so that I could go punch God in the face. Like, for me, it almost, like, hurts DC as a comic book entirely. Like, as a universe, because they look infantile. Like, they look desperate. And I guess I think it's supposed to do that. I think it's supposed to elicit some kind of feeling of like, oh, like, what? No. Like, whereas the Watchmen superheroes are supposed to be flawed and terrible, the DC heroes aren't. They're supposed to be flawed.
Yes.
But they're not supposed to be secretly assholes. Like if you were a Garth Ennis superhero.
Yeah.
And the giving them curses and making them, like, foaming at the mouth, crazy, scared, and angry, like, kind of makes them look like psychos. Like, it makes me kind of afraid of superheroes.
Well, yeah, I mean, like...
And that's kind of neat.
Yes.
And that's kind of like, that's great that they did that.
Right.
But it's also like, oh, was that smart of you?
Well, so here is something that I think is lost on me between these issues, is that, like, the amp up that we got to this point, where, like, all of them go.
All of them? Yeah.
And I'm like, why are all of them... Do you know what you're fighting?
What? I didn't even really remember how they all got the memo.
Yeah, and so, like for me, that's where, like, I'm kind of like... I'm struggling a little bit there, just because everybody shows up, and, like, if... I'm hoping on a reread of this that's a little more clear.
It will, I'm
because
sure.
what I like about this scenario is that Guy Gardner is, like... He unwittingly unravels everyone around him.
Yes.
With his panic and, like, showing him, like, check out all of the guys that we fought and how awesome we are. And then Dr. Manhattan just dismantles his ring. And, like, through Guy Gardner's, like, bravado. And then, like, but it's, like, really, like, you know how Spider-Man quips when he's nervous? Like, it's, like, almost like...
Guy Gardner gets just more angry and more, like,
exactly.
desperate.
But, like, because of that, it felt like everyone around him, like, it became a powder cake scenario.
Absolutely. No, it amped everybody up. And that does happen when you're dealing with somebody who is volatile. Yes. And that was actually, like, a genius move in terms of writing. Like, it really worked. And I really liked it. And Dr. Manhattan was, I think, like, despite the fact that if you were to, like, talk to Ethan, he'd be like, this is the most vile and disgusting thing I've ever seen. Like, making a sequel to Watchmen and putting him in the DC universe, I think is stupid. I love, if you were to do it, it's the best way you could do it.
Yeah.
Having Dr. Manhattan, like, observe them, like there's some kind of, like, thing to be studied. Him taking apart the ring and being like, oh, like, I've never seen this, and I want to know how it works. What you're saying doesn't even register to me. You know, that is so cool.
Yes. The only thing I thought was lacking here in terms of Dr. Manhattan is he keeps talking about the fact that he doesn't, like, he's not sure where things are going, and I'm a little disappointed by the lack of change in his nature. Yeah. Whether it be, like, he says, like, it's kind of exciting, but there's nothing that really shows that.
No.
And, like, there's nothing that shows that he's necessarily even nervous by that. I mean, like, he has lived a god's life, basically, and now to not know...
He should be more...
He should be one way or the other.
But I'm called back to that moment in Watchmen, and maybe it'll take, like, real heavy scrutiny, because Gary Frank does take a lot of time to, like, really get into what Gary Frank was doing with the art. But, like, I'm thinking about that moment that Ozymandias says, where he talks about how, like, he's been so separated from human emotion, but, like, he's not totally divorced from it. So, like, when, like, Jenny... gives him the business. Yeah. He says, like, you wouldn't notice the tick, but for me, he might as well have been sobbing. Like, maybe the way in which Dr. Manhattan carries himself. Yeah. And maybe in the art, if I look really closely, there are ticks or giveaways that suggest that he is actually, like, really confused and afraid. But, you know, so that was cool. Yeah. I dug it, and I'm excited for it. I'm sure the next issue is going to be delayed. But,
oh, no doubt.
You know, for me, the most frustrating thing about it is that it is a linchpin. It was a linchpin to what the next step in DC was going to be. And for me, that was really exciting. And so it gave weight and gravity, even more weight and gravity, to this story, which is too bad because, like, a story should have weight and gravity all on its own, and I'm sure that when it's finished, it'll be a beautiful story that you can enjoy over and over again, and it has its own meaning and depth, and, you know, it'll register to people and elicit all kinds of emotions and truths to you. But the fact that it then was going to be like, and then this happens with DC, that is really cool. Right. And I was very excited by it. And the fact that, like, Jeff Johns was giving us things that we had been asking for forever. Yes. And changing things to suit a world that was kind of true to form and anti-New 52, and to see that not only is that not the case, but that things that are actually hurting the DC universe now, that are stopgaps to keep DC events going, are influencing this book. So, like, they're referencing Sanctuary, and the Court of Owls are in it. Like, we're seeing those influences on this book, whereas this book was supposed to influence the freaking publishing line.
Right.
That actually hurts it even more.
And I kind of wish instead it just didn't reference any of them, and then it could just be a story, and it's either in continuity or not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Because, like, I noticed in this when we're looking at, like, the teams, which I was like, that's kind of cool. I really dug seeing the different teams and their different ships. One of them is the Doom Patrol.
Yeah. Weird. Because it's just Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
That's what, like, I was like...
It's just Robot Man in his Grant Morrison costume.
It is, and, like, not that he isn't in the new one, but, like, there's Niles Colt. Like, the whole thing, it's just literally that. It's also the one from the show right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Like, Elasti-Woman's in it?
So what?
What? Where'd she come from?
You know what I mean, though? So I'm, like, kind of like, oh, okay, where are we? So we don't look at Young Animal right now. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah, no. And we don't care about it, and it's probably canceled. The whole thing is probably dead. But, yeah, no. Woof.
Yeah.
So, you know. Anyway, Doomsday Clock number 9 is giving people what they wanted.
Right. This is the fight everybody wanted to see. Well, this is the precursor to the fight that everyone's wanted to see.
Yes, and that's good that we are getting this because you know there's not going to be a single punch between Superman and Dr. Manhattan.
No, and that's absolutely, and like that's what I wanted.
But that's why you're getting this
That's what
fight.
I wanted. I wanted it to be more about conversation.
And it should be, and it hopefully will be.
Right, whereas, like, here's the thing. Superman is not a god, but, like, he is often treated as such, whereas Dr. Manhattan literally has the ability to, like,
unmake things.
Be in different time periods simultaneously.
Yes.
Very different perspective. And yet, I think I'm hoping that it's Superman who will be able to teach him what it is like to...
I hope so, too.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
just as he, like, I mean, and I hope that, like, it would be really nice if Dr. Manhattan was a representation of cynicism in comics or something like that.
Right.
But, who knows? It's exciting. And I'm looking forward to what's ahead. And I think this issue has a lot to unpack, and so you stay for the fight, come for the fight, but stay for, like, the real shit.
Yeah.
And, like, the stuff I was talking about, how it's like, oh, like what you talked about with Guy Gardner and how he amps up everybody else, and how, like, what I talked about where it's like cursing in superhero comics, like, doesn't that make them look kind of stupid? Like, and Dr. Manhattan makes them really look stupid, and he's a blue guy with he's a blue naked guy. Like,
yes.
Everything should be, like, really analyzed and discussed, and it's really cool to see how one issue can elicit that kind of response.
Yeah.
And it says hope. It says hope for me in DC in the future.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's really funny introducing Lex.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
Well, he was in the earlier.
Right, but I mean, like.
But, like, now.
But being like, and hi, and
right.
I'm like, cool. I mean, I guess, because it's okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all wraps up.
Me too.
In the next few issues, because now we're.
3 more.
3 more. We got 3 more, and now I feel like there's a lot for them to tie up.
Yes, you got Marionette in mind, the Joker, Superman. What the hell is he even going to do in this book? Ozymandias. What's his plan? Lex Luthor.
The Superman theory.
Rorschach.
Like, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing. Just, like, I'm just like, I really hope nothing is rushed out of this, because it seems like we front-loaded a lot of, not filler, but, like, we took our time early on, and I'm just concerned at how this is a fast-paced book, which is absolutely fine with me, because there is something about that like, because it is a fight, and, like, it's meant to be occurring over a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
The only thing I am disappointed in, honestly, hang on, I'm trying not to go all over the place here. Let me finish that first thought, though. Is that, like, this is how the rest of the books are going to be, where it's very fast-paced, and we're just trying to get to the end and tie them up. But they've got 3 issues left, and again, there's just a lot of plot threads out there that I'm concerned they're not going to develop the way that they should be developed, or finish out the way that they're meant to be finished out.
Yeah.
But I'm a little disappointed in time is such an element of Dr. Manhattan.
And they've been really insisting on it in the series.
And when Batman is attempting to send the message, there's not as much emphasis on that. I thought we were going to see the timestamps at the different points when the message is attempting to be sent to Mars as the fight is, like, beginning, as, like, things are amping up. And I was just like, oh, it was kind of a shame. It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't really detract, but I was just like, that was kind of a missed opportunity.
Right.
I felt.
Yeah.
To bring it back around to more of that Watchmen feel.
Totally.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm excited for the future of this book, and I wish that the rest of this shit wouldn't influence it. I wish it were separate, since it can't roll out with everything. Since we know that Snyder's kind of like painting the tapestry of the DC universe for the next until 2021.
Yes.
If not 2022.
Yes. I mean, like, here's the thing: if they had made it its own standalone graphic novel, it would have been great, and it would have been something that could have been like they could have spun it out into something else. It for me, I think it would be a lot more forgivable to those who don't like the idea of there being a sequel to Watchmen at all. Like, it's like, oh, no, but it's over there, and like it's not necessarily in any sort of continuity. It was more of a thought experiment. Yeah. You know, like I don't know. I think I don't know.
Right.
And I won't know until it's over, because we're just talking about
one
series
chapter
to date, you know, and what we've learned from it. So
no, it's right. So there you go. Doomsday Clock number 9.
Yeah.
I recommend it. It's a scene, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, if you've been reading Doomsday Clock, obviously go get this.
Oh,
but if you haven't been, this is not, like, just
this is not the jumping on point. No, I agree with that.
Just wait. It's fine.
Yeah. No, it's true. So jumping into some books that I want to recommend.
Oh, hang on real quick.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just want to say,
yeah.
I read The Dreaming this past week.
Yes, you did.
This has been the best dreaming book
so far,
and it has nothing to do with the dreaming. It's really it's more of a Sandman book than anything else, and it was awesome. And Daniel Hall gets one panel where he's a badass, and it's like the most badass he's been
ever.
He's the most badass ever in this book. But I had a really good time with it, and I'm looking forward to the second part of it. So anyway, moving on.
Well, so yeah, I recommend it, but like wait. So I'm recommending some books that are coming out this week that we think you should pick up.
Okay, while you're recommending, I'm going to look at some recommendations.
Yeah. Have you ever wondered what the Punisher would be like if he were Batman? Pick up Batman, the Batman Who Laughs, the Grim Knight #1.
I was like, where is this going? Because I'm really interested in this.
It's a spin-off book that talks about the Grim Knight.
Everybody's honestly like new favorite character.
Literally, like even more so, I think, than the Batman Who Laughs, because we got so much of him.
I'm starting to think so.
I think it's actually because everybody likes Punisher / Red Hood, so they're like, yes, Batman who murders people. That speaks my language. It's a one-shot. It's 28 pages. I recommend it. It's also...
Is it like those books that they did
yeah.
during DC Metal, where it was like, here's their origin story?
Yeah, I think it is, but it's also like... It's explaining why and how the Batman Who Laughs found and recruited him. So I think you're going to get both.
Oh, okay.
But, Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV worked on it. Also, there's art by Jock in the book, so check it out.
Oh, I like that.
I do.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. Jumping into Marvel, obviously I'm going to recommend Amazing Spider-Man #17. It's by Nick Spencer with art by Humberto Ramos, who I would much rather see doing this series. I'm sorry, Otley fans. I like Otley's work on Invincible, and that's it. Hunted Part 1 is where Kraven the Hunter made a bunch of Kraven clones and now and stole all of Spider-Man's animal-based villains, and so now they're all going to fight and stuff. It looks fun and silly and weird, and I don't care about Kraven. I think he should have stayed dead. But if you're gonna do this, why not do something? Why not go all out? It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be neat. It's gonna look really cool, and it might be if they pull this off, I'm gonna be very excited because I don't like Kraven stories except for the one where he kills himself. So. Okay. This might be because I really don't like Grim Hunt. I really don't, because it brought him back when I said don't, and it did it in such a stupid magic-y way. And this looks like it's actually just like, no, it's playing with the whole totem thing. But without it being magic based, and so I'm like,
yeah, we were literally just talking about this the other night.
Yeah, so please do this. I'm excited. It'll be cool. So I recommend that.
Okay.
There's a lot of other stuff coming out this week, but those are the 2 books that I'm going to pick up first, read, review on this show, and, go from there.
Okay. Awesome. over an Image, there are a lot of fans out there of Prodigy. I was less a fan of it, but I think once it's completed, I'll give it an actual finished read through. But that will be, I think, issue 4 of that is coming out this week, so I just want to give you guys a heads up of that. If you missed out on Die, that incredible Kieran Gillen book, the second and third issues are going back to printing. The second is in its third printing with a variant cover on that one, and the third one is going back for its second printing also with a variant cover by Stephanie Hahn. So it's pretty cool. And then in the Marvel realm, I want to recommend, I don't know, I had a good time with it, and we'll see if it continues on with this. Old Man Quill, number 3, I kind of enjoyed it.
Your pitch for this book, like when you explained what it was, I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually really cool.
Kind of neat, kind of interesting. I mean, like, look, it's an old man series. Now that's the thing. Now old man whatever is a thing.
Yep. Well, and they made that old lady Harley book.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a thing, so fine, whatever. I'm going to keep going with this until I'm not a fan of it. It is only a 12-issue mini, so we'll be about a fourth of the way through with this one. And then this week, I'm going to pick this up, if nothing else, because I want this cover. Age of Conan. Bellet? There's like an accent later on down here on it.
Oh, then I have no idea.
Oh, the She-Devil of the Seas would be Queen. But anyway, it's a set of stories, or a story that takes place in the world of Conan. It's 5 issues, but for me, Sana Takeda is going to be doing the cover for it, so I want to get... It is Takeda. Is doing the cover, or one of the covers, and I want to get that cover because it's too cool. And I've just been digging this whole, like, Conan, like, renaissance we're going through right now.
Why not?
I'm going to check it out. I'm not saying it's going to be amazing, because Conan I don't think will be in it.
Okay.
But
the world will.
Who knows?
Did you see what else comes out this week?
Oh! Is it the trade?
Yes.
It's over?
It's over.
And I missed all of it.
The whole thing.
Well, I'm going to have to pick up Defenders by Al Ewing and a bunch of other people on that one.
Yes, Defenders, the best defense. That's
it. That's what it is. Well, it really threw me off. They put trade paperback in the middle of it.
Yeah, Defenders, trade paperback, best defense.
Who lists things like that?
This horrible website.
They do. That's terrible. But yeah, if you were looking for something that teams up like a kind of more classic Defenders team, including Doctor Strange and the Immortal Hulk and Namor, you can go check that out. And the Silver Surfer. Look at them there.
That's the best version of Doctor Strange you've seen since What If Magic.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for me. For me! But that's for me. Other people really dig it. I'm just not a fan.
And before we wrap up, there's a bunch of super chats I wanted to address. The first of which is coming up.
I think it's down there.
Yeah. Will I Am Golden says, spoiler, in Doomsday Clock, everyone is waved away. Yep, really that happens.
Bye.
The Red Samurai says, loved seeing Jon Stewart in the book, but then I remember Jeff Johns wrote it, and he hates Jon Stewart and will never allow the character to succeed with him, while him and DiDio are at DC, and that's so sad. Unless you're reading Justice League, in which case he's doing really well.
Oh, well, but what helps there is you got Snyder.
And he likes that character and is doing something with him.
Yeah, he wants to do it. So, yeah, there's a lot of lanterns there.
Yeah. Brian Cahoon says, Wally West mentioned by Lex, what does it mean? Good question. It kind of sucks because it's like we got rid of him, we changed him, then we brought him back officially, then we killed him. And if we ever want to bring him back, we have to be like, well, I know we killed him like a couple years ago, or brought him back a couple years ago, but he's back again for real though. And it's like, you've wrecked it. You've wrecked the moment. Mr. Roboto says, does Dr. Manhattan fix the source wall? No. But I don't think he's even aware about that.
Which, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. Well, it's not related because Scott Snyder wrote that, and clearly those two don't work together.
But I'm just saying, it's kind of weird as a character.
Yeah.
That he wouldn't be aware.
I know.
Like, regardless of it broken or not, that he wouldn't be aware of it existing.
Oh, yeah.
It's also kind of weird that Dr. Manhattan doesn't go and look at any of the other places.
Like New Genesis.
Exactly. Or Apocalypse.
No, I agree. Weird.
Yeah.
Willie says, what was weird for me is how did they get all the superheroes on Earth who emailed and organized them all? Must have sucked. Agreed. They do address it in the beginning of the book, but it's like, all of them?
I just assume it's Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, he's like, everybody go.
Yes, it has to be. Like, how else can you handle that?
Yeah.
But who told the Doom Patrol? That's really my question. Because they don't talk to them.
No, who has their number? By the way, really cool moment to see.
They invited themselves.
Yeah, they're like, I'm lost too. They're like, oh no. They're going to say something or bring a donkey or... By the way, cool moment to see Dr. Manhattan's inspiration, Captain Atom, deal the killing blow on Dr. Manhattan. That was really cool.
Which was like, any of us knew that was not going to work, and I really loved that nod to Watchmen, where he's just like, what do you think was the first trick?
Yeah.
Basically that I learned, and he just puts himself back together. Exactly.
It's really cool. The Red Samurai says, Sal and Tiff, are you guys excited about the Suicide Squad news? I love that Idris Elba finally has a good role. Also that that roster looks fun as hell.
Roster.
He did write roster.
Okay, well, it's roster.
It's roster. That roster looks fun as hell, and because it's so low-key villains, Gunn can do anything. Agreed. I don't care about the Suicide Squad. I'm not very excited about it, but I will say that Idris Elba being a replacement for Will Smith is weird, especially if it is in the same universe as the previous Suicide Squad. Apparently Margot Robbie and Amanda Waller, the actress who plays her, are coming back. So it's just going to be a big mess. It's going to be really confusing. But that's cool.
But I do like Idris Elba.
And he's great. And he's, the thing is, Idris Elba doesn't need this. So, I'm not excited to see Idris Elba in this role because I'd rather see him anywhere. I'll watch him in anything. So, that's fine. I think it's, lazy because everybody likes him. And I think they were like, well, obviously Will Smith's not going to come back, so let's just get anyone. We'll get the one everyone likes. The actor everybody's asking for. Even though he doesn't look anything like him or act anything like... they're totally different actors with completely different acting styles. So it's like, you might as well just reboot the damn universe then. Yeah. If you're going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure James Gunn behind it. He's not directing it, is he? I don't remember. But in any case, James Gunn working on it and it being more of an Ostrander period makes me excited. And that's also cool because you could do anything. You can kill anyone. And so I'm down. I'm down. It's just the Suicide Squad is not my team. I'm not I'm going to see Suicide Squad. I saw the first one. I'm like, oh shit, this is really bad. But Ostrander's run is admittedly cooler than the New 52 run. So you're already starting in a better place. So I'm in.
Right.
It's going to be smart. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good for
them. It'll have some great music.
Yes. And, you know what? And I think somebody asked me, and I thought it was Super Chat, but I guess not. But stay tuned for Shazam. I'm looking forward to that movie. Yeah,
no, somebody kept asking if what we thought about that, and I was like, well, we'll get there when the movie comes out.
Yeah, that movie comes out in April. It's literally in a month.
We got time.
We're going to do a whole episode on it, so,
Plenty of time.
Exactly. But for now, check out Captain Marvel. Dug the hell out of it.
Yeah.
And check out Doomsday Clock. I also dug that, even though it's weird. But that's it, folks. We'll see you guys next time with another episode of Off the Rack next Monday, of course. That's what this show is, a live comic book / comic book movie when it comes out review show. We chat with you, answer your questions, and hang out with you. Of course, we do appreciate those of you in the Super Chats who have Super Chatted us and helped out and contributed to this episode, made it an hour and 13 minutes long. We do appreciate it.
Yeah, we did. Wow, yay.
And if you want to explore more at ComicPOP, go over to patreon.com/ComicPOP and check that out. Because it's a fun little behind the curtain.
Yeah, look. You get back there. And Sal honestly does updates. I hear him doing them all the time.
I know. And by the way, it also helps allow us to have studio space and stuff like that.
Yeah, it actually really does.
Literally pays the rent. So, and that is unbelievable and so helpful.
Yes. Also,
we're developing a new show version of an old show that may rely entirely on Patreon support and suggestions. Also, if you like Elseworlds Exchange, which is another sister show to this show, there's another show spun out of Elseworlds that is only on Patreon. You can only get it there.
Ooh.
It's called One Shots.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a exclusive show. You'll never find it anywhere else except on Patreon. Unless they close Patreon. It's the only time you will get that show afterwards. But why bank on that? Go over to Patreon, join us, check out the new show. It's audio only, by the way. So that's it. Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys next time with another episode. In the meantime, what's happening tomorrow?
Nothing. Oh, no. Something big is happening tomorrow, in real life.
Oh, yeah. Outside if you want to see me in person, come to the Pit, the People's Improv Theater in New York City, and see me on stage with the gang from the team Comic Book Club, who are kind of an implication of... They informed what we were a little bit. They started out in the beginning, and it was really, really cool to be invited to to hang out with them. We've done that show before. I'm very excited to be invited back to do it again.
Yes.
So if you want to see me hang out with the Comic Book Club guys, go to the People's Improv Theater tomorrow at 7, I think. But
yes.
check it out. Look up comicbookclublive.com.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a fun show.
Yeah.
So hopefully see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
awesome.
we'll see you here on the channel. All right, so long, everybody.
Bye, guys.